I'm really excited to be here today with Nate Skinner, VP of Marketing for Pardot in the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And we are going to talk about supercharging growth through customer and partner marketing. So two topics I'm really passionate about, I know you're really passionate about, and have a lot of great experience. So excited to dig in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Exciting.
So I want to just kind of kick it off and talk a little bit about your current role at Pardot.
Yeah.
And I think you have an interesting challenge in that Salesforce is this amazing, well-established brand. So how do you grow mind share with Pardot?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. You're right. Salesforce is a well-known company. Surprisingly, people have heard of us, but often don't know what we do. And so we have to explain, Salesforce it's of course is for sales, but it's also for marketing and customer service. And at the end of the day, the answer really is Salesforce is about helping companies connect with their customers in a different way. What we do at Pardot to elevate to that message is remind our customers how we can help them find new customers, find more compelling opportunities for their sales teams, and ultimately do what most marketers need to do today, which is measure and maximize ROI. But it starts with the customer in the middle, and CRM is at the center of that for us.
Gotcha.
So it's actually a very kind of, symbiotic message if we make sure people understand the customer is the most important thing.
Gotcha. And who's the ideal customer for Pardot?
I mean, typically it has to be a B2B company. We're not a great fit for B2C brands. And the reason for that is it's sales. If you have a sales team that needs to be fed kind of qualified leads, if you have a sales team that is looking to marketing to help drive their pipeline and their funnel, that's typically a good fit for Pardot, regardless of kind of size. We have companies of every size, from massive VMware to Amazon to smaller companies like, you probably know Tracy Eiler from Inside View.
Of course, love Tracy.
Yeah, she's great. They're a great customer, and they're a little on the smaller side, but they're doing amazing work around aligning sales and marketing. Okay. So I think the first thing really is that if you have a sales team that needs kind of leads, and you want to drive that for them as a marketer, that's a Pardot fit.
Okay. Well, we're in this MarTech, sales tech, crazy scape together.
Yeah.
And everyone talks about the tech stack. It's a relatively competitive space. How would you position Pardot versus maybe another marketing automation type solution?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing is what the customer's trying to do. And for us, it's about that CRM at the center. So we believe, and we're from kind of strategy on the product and the go-to-market side, is you can't effectively market in the B2B world if you're not driving value to your sales organization. And the sales team is sitting in CRM, and most likely sitting in Salesforce. And so our strategy, our offering to our customers that is, in our point of view, positioned differently, is that CRM is the centerpiece of that, and we do everything we can to drive value with the customer in the middle. And that's really our differentiation. I mean, it's unique for us because we continue to build deeper and deeper integration. So like a campaign object in Salesforce is a campaign object in Pardot. There's no difference.
Right. It also probably helps with ease of use.
Yeah.
And like training the team up, and it's kind of one common language, one solution, less swivel chair, that type of thing.
That's right. I mean, when you said we're in this crazy sales and MarTech landscape, the key words there are sales and marketing, right?
Exactly.
And so the more we can do to bring those two parties together and make each of their lives better and create less animosity between them, the better off our customers are doing by bringing them together on one platform.
Yeah, I always talk about success is the ultimate alignment.
Yeah, exactly right.
So if we're driving success together, it's pretty easy for sales and marketing to be aligned.
Yeah. On the other hand, that's true. Totally, I agree with that 100%. Nothing drives alignment like green.
Yes. Yeah. We'll talk about that with partnerships too.
Yeah. But on the other hand, the minute it's not green, the minute there's a yellow signal in the metrics, it's easy for teams to immediately forget that there's a partnership at all, right? And all of a sudden it's us and them. Mm-hmm. And so the more we can do to help our customers understand that when you're working together on the same platform and the same data is the same data, same dashboard, the same dashboard.
One truth.
You don't have to argue about who's right. We're all in this together, and everyone understands, what the business is up to.
No, I mean, we have a saying at Aperio, and we have a saying now at Sixth Sense, like, if it's not in Salesforce, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't like 6 sets of dashboards.
Yeah.
There's just one.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm totally with you on that. I want to actually rewind a little bit.
Sure.
Because one of the things I love about your story and background is this role around customer marketing. And I don't think we're talking enough about it. And so maybe just share for our audience, how do you define customer marketing?
Yeah, I love this topic because it is, as you mentioned, it goes back in my time, previous roles I've had at different companies. I will say that the way we think about customer marketing at Salesforce is about the difference between someone who pays you money and someone who advocates on your behalf and is changing the game and the world around them, including their own community.
So amplifier.
Right. We call them trailblazers.
Yes.
So at Salesforce, trailblazer is a customer who is transcending the norm, kind of taking what's available to them with our technology and our platform and kind of creating a feature, while at the same time giving back in their community, changing the world around them, while at the same time finding tremendous success and advocating for others to come with them. That happens to be typically with the technology, but that's not, we know the differences.
Yeah.
Technology doesn't stand itself up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it takes amazing people that are smart and have the energy to kind of drive the next generation of change. And so that's...
So I want to stop you because Salesforce, no one does customer marketing like Salesforce.
Right.
I mean, the badging, the Trailblaze platform, it's absolutely incredible. But I think for most of us watching it, we think about our budget and our team, and it doesn't seem very approachable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's aspirational. So I guess what I'd like, if you don't mind, is share like what's realistic for non-Salesforce budget holders.
Well, so the first thing is like, if you every day and that's all you're thinking about is activating advocates, then that can be people's full-time job for sure. But for a small team of 3 to do amazing trail marketing, and I keep on using her as my example, but Tracy Adler's a great example. She doesn't have a huge team, but they treat their customers with an extraordinary amount of like awareness. And so the answer to your question very specifically, in my opinion, is start with like an understanding of what customer marketing means to you. So the way I defined it in my past life was like, customers pay you money. Like that's the baseline.
Okay.
Customer equals they pay us. But we know that just because you pay doesn't mean you love. And so the next level is where do those customers start to find success, where they're engaging with you, they're calling your success team, they're asking for help on social channels, or in communities, like online communities like the Success Platform and Salesforce, they're giving back to others, like, hey, I've solved this problem.
Right.
And helping other people solve it in advance. Those people tend to just rise out of the any money bucket. And when you see them, that's the ones that you should invest in, because you can't get everybody that pays you $1 to become a trailblazer. I mean, it works the opposite way. They're going to find their own way. They're going to find their own answer. They've made an investment and they want to change their future. And those people will automatically become visible. They become visible over time.
Okay.
In a couple different ways.
So I guess to sort of delineate between customer success and customer marketing, it's, hey, have an eye on that customer base. When people start to propagate as whatever you call them, hero, trailblazer, like it's your job in customer marketing to A, identify them, and B, kind of fuel that flame and foster
100%.
their growth.
Yeah, I think exactly right. I think effective customer marketing starts the opposite of normal marketing, the marketing you and I do. The marketing you and I do are like, let's put a message that's compelling in an offer market and try to draw eyeballs to us. Customer marketing is, done well, is partnering with customer success, customer support, the sales team to say, look, when you find someone who's finding this next level of success, who's patient with us and lets us work the problem with them, tell me who they are so that I can get to know them and help tell their story. In other words, the funnel for a customer marketer isn't everybody.
No,
it's internal.
Exactly.
And so that when I was doing customer marketing at my last company, I was every week meeting with the customer support manager and the customer success folks to say, who are those that are like really passionate about what we're doing? And getting on the phone with them, let's talk about how we can help move your chain even further.
So, I mean, of course, there's the somewhat obvious things like write their case study and maybe get a video of them. Maybe what's something just really unique that you've seen or done and has worked?
Well, my favorite is films. I mean, doing customer films, but what I've seen work really well is attracting a customer to participate in a customer film. It does a lot for their brand, and it does a lot for them, their personal brand, like that human being, their company, and then also it tells the story of how they're finding success with your technology or your product, right? So in my last company, we did films with Ripple, we did films with Virgin Experience Days. At Pardot, we did a film with VMware, we did a film with Tracy and Inside View. We've done a film with Stanley Black & Decker. Those, using a customer film opportunity as a way to kind of engage that customer to go to the next level beyond a case study is a really effective, it's very expensive, but it's an effective tool. One of my favorite things that we're doing right now is podcasts. So we're trying to create kind of an opportunity for people to listen and learn from renowned leaders, people who've been there and done that. And we partnered up with mission.org to do Marketing Trends, which is a podcast. Okay. And the idea there is like all of our sellers and all of our customer support success teams and all of our partners can submit nominations to be guests on this podcast. Oh, cool. Yeah, so there's like...
I think we talked about
this. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think you may even be on the roster.
Okay, good. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where people, it advances their brand, it helps get their brand awareness and earballs, not eyeballs, but because it's a podcast. But it gets more people thinking and talking about that customer's experience and brand, and it's an incentive for them to participate at a level that maybe they weren't thinking about before, right? Because who doesn't want to hear themselves on a podcast? It's cool.
Well, I don't know if I want to hear myself. I'd rather hear my guests. Yeah. That's why I have guests. Yeah. You guys do all the hard work. I just ask the questions.
and the mission is this amazing nonprofit organization founded by these ex-military guys. They're involved with the veterans, community. So it's helping them too. It's kind of this fortuitous circle that we really like participating in. It's amazing the response we get when you're talking to someone who's paying you money about going to that next level. Something like a podcast, something like a customer film, something like a case study. It's another great way to say, look, your journey is unique. Yeah. We'd love to tell that story, and whether it's an ebook or a blog post or something, because you've done something others haven't.
Yeah, so it's getting back to like the roots of marketing, of storytelling and journalism.
Absolutely,
which is all the stuff we love to do.
Yeah, it's just the protagonist is that human being, right?
Yes.
And that's the different from the product, if you're a product marketer or if you're a brand marketer, the protagonist in amazing customer stories in our trailblazer efforts at Salesforce is the customer is the protagonist.
And I think it's important that it's not just the company, it's the person. It's the individual.
Right. Yeah,
that's
yes. Inside you. Yeah. Yes, inside you, but Tracy's the story. Her journey and her team and things she does for women in revenue, and she's a trailblazer. That's why we work so hard to continue to help her advocate on her behalf and advocate on our behalf as well.
Love it. Okay, so let's switch gears again. Yeah. So we talked about customer marketing and storytelling and really using customers to amplify and accelerate growth. I believe, and in my experience, Salesforce has been just amazing at partner marketing. I really think the company sets the standard in that. And I want to talk about how you think about partner marketing with Salesforce and in your role at Pardot a little bit more.
I think you're right. I think we do a pretty good job. It goes all the way back to the App Exchange. When we first stood up the App Exchange as the kind of world's leading ecosystem for business applications. Partners are more than that, right? Partners are quid pro quo. Partners are people who team up to go help customers find new opportunities. And I think that's what you're talking about when it comes to like doing it well. From my perspective, partnership is about like, what are you guys doing that our customers could benefit from, that we're not doing or not able to do for them?
Yeah.
And that's what makes the greatest partnerships, because then it's 1 + 1 = 3.
So I want to call on that because we're really excited to be partnering with Pardot.
Yeah, we are too.
So tell us, what's the value proposition of 6 cents and Pardot in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, the main one is our customers understand the way they use Pardot is to stand up, find leads, close their sales teams, close deals, and maximize ROI. But what we don't have is kind of a anonymous understanding, like I think you guys call it the dark funnel.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
So that aspect is
not to be confused with the dark web.
Right, not the dark web.
No.
The dark funnel.
Dark funnel.
Much different. Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the essence is the leads you don't know about, right? Or the leads you don't know.
Which is now a majority.
Right, of course, yeah, absolutely. And nowadays with anonymous browsing, like you can have very qualified leads that don't tell you anything about who they are. And that's the opportunity. The pairing up of Pardot and 6 cents gives our customers the ability to understand that side of their funnel in a way that they don't with just us. And that's what I like about the 1 + 1 = 3. You have something that our customers don't have in us by ourselves, and the combination just gives them that much more power to do what they need to do to move their company's growth.
Exactly. Now, do you feel like today as a marketer, it's harder? Like there's more people we need to engage. There's, we've got to be a lot more personalized.
It's harder, I think, yes. That's a good question. I think it's harder, go ahead.
Well, especially because along the lines of what we were just talking about, where more of it is anonymous and there's all these stats about people not wanting to talk to a sales rep. It's like we've got to orchestrate the engagement a lot longer to get it to a qualification place where a salesperson can orchestrate it. It's not that we're not working together the whole time. It's just kind of who's on first. And I feel like we've got to run that ball a little farther now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We did a study, kind of a collection, a primary source research study of like 5 primary sources of information. So like kind of cool. It's called the B2B trends or front lines of B2B marketing.
Okay.
We have it at the show here this week. But
okay, well, that's big.
Yeah, there's a stat in there that we all know this as B2B marketers, but generally people don't remember how really true this is, which is 7 out of 10 people today, when they're doing a considered purchase in our world, that's B2B.
Yep.
7 out of 10 had made their decision before they ever talked to a salesperson.
That's scary.
That's scary, right. So like your point about it being harder, when you have to give those people everything they need to make that decision before they ever speak to your sales team. And that more than ever before. So to your point, it's like, how do you do that when you don't even know who they are? How do you do that when they might vary in geography, time zones? Having chat to like bots are great if the answers are simple. There's just 100 kind of ways to do it, and none of them are like perfect. I think the ultimate, the only thing we can do is continue to try to do different things. So when we pair up, for instance, 6 cents plus Pardot, now you have, I've read this stat the other day that was something about abandonment rates on forums. How many times you want the thing, but you don't want to fill out the form.
Or you fill out Mickey Mouse.
Right, yeah, you're
hot lead.
John Lennon, yeah.
Mickey Mouse at AOL.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And so then but now we're talking about exactly what. So the first time that happened to someone's like, what we can do is we can put code on the form that doesn't let you use a Gmail address. So now there's that stuff. But all you're doing is creating more hurdles for the prospect. You're making it more likely for them to be anonymous, actually.
And it's also a bad experience. Like, if they don't, should we try to strive to give them a better experience?
Yeah, it's kind of the antithesis of what you think. But these are the things that happen, right?
This is what we do.
The form abandonment, what drives that? Someone measuring a form completes as the metric. As an inbound metric, and they're like, if those numbers just keep falling, we have a problem. And so they start to jigger with how to make sure that number stays up.
Yes.
Which is not the metric. The metric is the customer experience. The metric is, do you give it the right prospects, the ones who really want to talk to you?
And are you helping them make up their mind?
Right.
Because they're going to make it up without you.
Whether you help them or not, they're going to make up their mind. So I think it's harder than ever, but there's also, our job is to, I think, 2 things. One is, don't manage your marketing business like an accountant. I mean, yes, we have responsibility, fiscal responsibility to our company and our shareholders and our stakeholders, but at the end of the day, if your measurements are, if if your metrics you're holding yourself against are all these things like form abandonment rates and like page drop, you're not thinking about the why, right?
Yeah.
Why is that happening? Well, maybe the form's got too many fields in it. Why are they leaving your page? Maybe your content's not very compelling.
Right.
Like, focus on the why, not on the, oh, let's do something kind of nifty to get that number back up.
Right.
Like, that's
right.
just the cheat.
Well, I also, so it's interesting, my background, I kind of fell into marketing, you know Chris Barbin,
Oh, yeah.
and he asked me to do it, and he's very hard to say no
Yeah,
to.
he is.
But I came from sales, and I didn't really even understand or care about those metrics because that just wasn't my background.
Mm-hmm.
So I always started with pipeline.
Yeah.
And now it's like this whole new phenomenon that you measure pipeline, and I'm like, I never have ever measured an MQL because who cares? So it's like this new, I guess I kind of was ahead of the curve just because I didn't know any better.
Yeah. Well, I think our perspective, my first job in software was the sales rep, as an inside sales rep.
Yeah.
And I think our perspectives are unique amongst marketers, which is to say we start with the kind of, I have a salesperson's mentality. I understand what it means to make quota and be up against the quota at the end of the month and the end of the quarter. I felt those things before. So it's not a stretch for me to think, you need, $10 million in revenue, we need to get 3 times that in pipe. Like let's just.
What activities do we need to do?
Right.
How much are we going to get from each one?
Kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
It's not the fun stuff. It's not this. It's not podcasts, but it is all those things lead to that. Right?
Yes.
And then the idea is, okay, which of these things are we doing that are driving the biggest chunks of that pipe? But you're right. It's not rocket science, and for people who have a background in sales, it's not even a hard problem.
We're more simple individuals, I think,
Yeah.
too. Well,
You definitely understand the math, right?
Yeah.
I think, and you don't chase things that aren't true. Like, if you're a sales rep.
Qualification.
How do you move an opportunity forward? It's further qualification, further buy-in, further signals that this is the right customer at the right time, right? In marketing, it's the same thing.
Well, it's interesting. That's probably the number one thing that intrigued me about coming to Sixth Sense was we could tell someone when an account is in market.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as a salesperson, that's all we want to know.
Yeah.
Right? We want to be able to lock on and run a deal down.
Yep.
And really focus. And so, and especially now back to it being harder, being able to marry, okay, this is anonymous behavior with where they are in their journey. I feel like together we can give a really unique experience.
Yeah. I mean, the comment you just made around, it's noisy, right? It's noisy out there for the customer. It's noisy in the sales world. If you're a sales rep, the inbound information, whether it's internal information about your company or your products or your services, or external inbound leads that I can't tell if this one's better than this one, which one should I call first or second?
A lot of false positives.
Lots of false positives and just information, right? It's just coming at you like a rainstorm. And anything we can do to help minimize that kind of craziness and help people focus on the most important things. It's not to say take your brain and shut it off. It's to say you got 1,000 things to do. Let's make it 100, and right. the right 100, not the wrong 100. Because you just wasted a bunch of time. Exactly. And I think you're right. Like one of the attractive things about Sixth Sense for our customers is it helps just further reduce the noise.
Yeah, we're very, again, excited about the partnership. And I guess I wanted to also talk a little bit about partnering in general, because there's hundreds of companies or thousands of companies that want to be a Salesforce partner. And some stand out and do it really, really well, and others not so much. So give some best practices about, if I want to be an awesome Salesforce partner, how do I set myself up for success?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. I think the first thing is if it's a technology platform, because there's different kinds of partners, right? Implementation partners, service partners. If it's a technology provider, I think the most important thing is trust. In today's data privacy kind of security breach, it seems like every time you turn on the news, someone's getting hacked somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And for us, we take trust very seriously. One of the top values of the company.
Yep.
Trust and equality and innovation and customer success. Those are the pillars of our company. And so my suggestion to any partner that's a technology vendor is button it up, because that makes it very easy. If you come to Salesforce with a technology integration you'd like to sponsor or promote, first of all, is the customer. How does the customer benefit? That's like the most important thing.
Sure.
But then the back door and the kind of security layer, having had done your homework to make sure that that's secure and as the best as you can do, is a really easy way to have a good conversation with Salesforce early. As opposed to, like, we hack something together and it works really cool, but the back end is transparent. That won't work very well. That would be my suggestion. Think about trust like as important as it should be today, which is customer data is extremely important to protect.
Yeah, I would say I totally agree with that. Another thing I found is just like ABM, or what we call ABO, account-based orchestration, is about focus and knowing your ICP and knowing kind of where you fit in.
Yeah.
I have found personally in working with Salesforce, they need to, sales is a ground game, and so you have to be trusted to know how the products work together and to not be a generalist at everything. The guy who walks in and says, my product does everything, well, they know in 2 seconds it's not true. So just being very crisp, what opportunities are right, how do we co-sell, like those type of things I think are also part of the trust equation.
Absolutely. Totally. Yeah, that's your point's a great one, which is it's the technology trust, but it's also the trust in the solution, trust in your knowledge, trust in the fact that this plus this is better.
Sure.
And so I think what you're saying is like, as another piece of advice, you didn't say this, but I'm going to turn it around and give it
Turn it around.
Is be prepared to tell your story. If you want to be a partner with Salesforce and you want to be successful, what's your story? How does what you do and what we do make the customer's life better? And if you can be nice and concise about that and differentiate, what we do is different from these people. It's this, not that.
Sure.
And ultimately, the benefit is you probably do pretty well.
Awesome. Well, we're excited. 6 Cents plus Pardot. We think it's 1 + 1 equals kind of a best-in-class account-based marketing experience because of the things you talked about. So much of it's harder and it's anonymous.
Yeah.
And if we can give Pardot customers all of that anonymous activity, if we can give Pardot sales teams and marketing teams who's in market and where to focus their campaigns, and then make the campaigns really, really personalized so that people engage, I think together our mutual customers will be very successful.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. We're excited about it.
All right. Well, I know you are a busy man, and it's a very busy week.
It is a busy week.
So I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.